I'm Alex with Storyline Travel, and today we're going to talk about traveling the world. Walt Disney World, that is. Stay tuned. In this video, we'll cover part 2 of transportation at Walt Disney World, the monorail, Skyliner, and using a car. So let's talk about one of the most iconic transportation methods around Disney World, the monorail. So the monorail has 2 tracks around Bay Lake, which is the lake that the Magic Kingdom it faces, and 3 resorts, the Polynesian, the Contemporary, and Grand Floridian all face. And it is a resort monorail that makes a stop at each of the 3 resorts and the Ticket and Transportation Center before it gets to Magic Kingdom. So that's a good one to know. Some key facts about the monorail there. You can use it to roll on both wheelchairs and ECVs as well as strollers. It is typically 1 stroller per car. So if you do have 2 strollers, you may have to fold one of those up. Be aware of that. And any of the wheelchairs or strollers tend to be loaded in the middle. So you won't be at front or back. You'll tend to be in the middle. That's where the ramps are to get you from the loading area onto the car. There's also a monorail that connects the Ticket and Transportation Center to Epcot. And so that's a nice way if you are going to Epcot for dinner, for example, from the Magic Kingdom. You can capture, or you can get on a monorail from the Magic Kingdom, go over to the Ticket and Transportation Center, and then switch monorails to take you to Epcot. It does go to the front of Epcot as opposed to the back area where the resorts are, the International Gateway. So it's good to know where you'll end up. You'll actually end up at the front of Epcot. Speaking of the International Gateway and Epcot, the newest transportation center introduced at Disney World is the Skyliner, a gondola system. The Skyliner connects Epcot at the International Gateway, as I just mentioned, to Disney's Hollywood Studios from a park-to-park connection. It also connects several resorts, the Caribbean Beach Resort, the new Riviera Resort, and then it connects to value resorts, the Art of Animation Resort and Pop Century Resort. So the Disney Skyliner, a few things from accessibility to know. It does provide you to roll on a wheelchair and ECV. You can roll on a single stroller, maybe a double stroller. That's a bit of a question because the doors are a little bit narrower than, say, on a monorail. If you have a second stroller or a double stroller, you may have to fold it up. So the way that the Skyliner works, because it's primarily always in motion, that's how it's designed. Each station where there's a stop has a small loop where they can pull a car to the side and stop it, and that will allow for the wheelchair or ECV to roll on, the stroller to roll on. It is a separate boarding line, so look for the wheelchair sign or the stroller sign to get on the Skyliner. But if you go there, they will loop it out, and then once your party is seated and comfortable, they will then put you back into the regular rotation. So those loops are only at the stations where they pick up and drop folks off. And again, it is a safety loop. It does get you out of the moving, so you're not trying to do double moving your chair and the car at the same time. They will stop it for you. So that's something to be aware of. Do be aware that the Skyliner, much like the watercraft, are subject to weather, especially high winds, as you can imagine, but other types of weather as well. And it's a good point to note at this time, whether it is the watercraft or it is the Skyliner where there is weather issues. If these are the primary modes that would get you to a park or a different, or from the park to your resort, and those are down, Disney will provide bus service as a backup. That's happened to us a few times, especially like say the Riviera, where I want to go to an Epcot, or I want to go to Hollywood Studios. If that's down, then the Riviera bus stop will provide a bus to get to those two parks. Good to know. One other really important tip: if Epcot is closed, so it's after hours, and the Skyliner is running, you cannot take the Skyliner to get to the monorail station nor car parking at Epcot. You see, the way that Epcot is, it's positioned right in the middle between those two transportation methods. So if the park is closed, you can't get into the International Gateway to get up to the front. Vice versa, if you are in a say an Uber drop off, or you've parked a car, you wanted to get on the Skyliner, you can't get through the park to it. So be aware of that, plan accordingly. If you do want to take the monorail, or if you do have a car parked and you find yourself on the Skyliner after Epcot closes, you're going to have to go to either a resort and take a bus around, or Hollywood Studios is definitely another stop where you could pick up a car service and get you back to the front of Epcot. So please be aware of that. Don't get left stranded. Speaking of cars, let's talk about the last method of transportation I'm going to cover today, which is cars. So whether you have a personal or a rental car, Disney has implemented parking fees for all resort guests. There are different tiers of parking depending on whether it's a value, moderate, deluxe, or deluxe villa. But you will pay a daily fee for the length of your stay. Those fees do include standard parking at the parks. So the 4 parks, it is included, just so you're aware. If you want to do the new preferred parking that they do have at several of the theme parks, actually maybe all of the theme parks now at this point, you can pay the difference between what you paid at your resort and the cost of that preferred parking, so you can pay an upcharge. Just be aware that could be anywhere from an additional $20 to $25 per day for you to do that. The great thing about having a rental car or having your personal vehicle there is you do have freedom and flexibility. You can obviously go resort to resort much faster than taking the Disney transportation. As a note, if you're doing dining at a resort and you're just going to a different resort for that dining time, if you'll let the guard know when you get there and you have the reservation, they will let you park free for 3 to 4 hours, whatever they expect the dining time to be. Parking at Disney Springs, ESPN Wild World of Sports complex, and the 2 water parks are complimentary at this time. So driving and parking to those areas do not require an additional fee. Finally, talking about cars, is you might want to take advantage of Uber, Lyft, or the taxi service that's available. This is great for getting around the park quickly. If you do want to do a resort to resort route, like I said, maybe you have a dinner reservation, or maybe you're meeting up with friends. This is a fairly inexpensive way to get around without having to pay the parking fees. You just pay the fee to get you from point A to point B. We have used both Uber and Lyft within the Disney World complex. It's been really good for us for, like I said, getting those reservations. But I will tell you, we had a medical situation where we needed to get my wife to a doctor. And it was great to have someone pick us up, take us offsite to the doctor that we needed to see, and then to get back in to the resort area. So they're well known in the resorts, and can come and pick you up. They actually picked us up at our resort villa. We were staying in a villa, and they came to our resort villa. We didn't have to go up to the front, and so that was really nice for this medical situation. Again, everything's great. It was we thought major, ended up being not so major. Everything worked out great, but it was nice to know that we had that option there. So, whole lot to talk about. That is all of the Disney transportation. May have missed a few things, but for the most part, this is our experience and how we've gotten around. We will pick transportation based on how much fun it is and what we maybe fits in our day. If it's a beautiful day and we want to be out on the water, it's fun to be able to take a water taxi and go to different locations. I hope you found this useful information. If you did, please give it a like and share it with someone that you think could find value in this. We come out with a new video every week, so press subscribe. And turn on that notification, because as soon as it comes out on Friday, you'll get the heads up that, hey, we have a new video out. I hope you enjoyed our video. At Storyline Travel, every adventure is a story waiting to be told.